Welcome to episode 7 of the TotalBroSports podcast.
And we're live. Welcome to episode 7 of the TotalBroSports podcast. I'm the president of the site, Alex, with Ben, Jack, Kai, and a special guest, Rob, who's an Eagles fan. Thank you all for being here. Okay, so why don't we start with today's news? According to ESPN and TMZ, social media caught Dwayne Haskins out partying after a loss in a local gentleman's club without a mask. He has since apologized for it, citing, "I want to publicly apologize for my actions this past Sunday. I spoke with Coach Rivera yesterday and took full accountability for putting the team at risk. It was irresponsible and immature of me, and I accept responsibility for my action. I also want to apologize for creating a distraction for my team during a playoff push. I will learn and grow from this and do what's best for the team moving forward." Also in the news, the NBA season started last night when you guys hear this, and the Jets won a game. Now to Ben with the latest on the playoffs.
Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game.
All right. So in the AFC, there's already a few clinches. The Packers have clinched the division, and the Saints and Seahawks have both clinched the NFC. They've clinched both. They both clinched, but not the divisions. And yeah, the whole NFC East is wide open still, and the Lions have been eliminated, Niners have been eliminated, Falcons and Panthers have. And in the AFC, it's almost set. The Chiefs and Bills have both clinched the division, and the Steelers have clinched a spot in the playoffs. And then there's only two teams right now that aren't projected to be in the playoffs that are not eliminated. That's the Ravens and Raiders. And the Patriots, Broncos, Chargers, etc. have all been eliminated.
Great. All right, and now we can go to our next segment.
2-minute recap!
Chargers and Raiders. Justin Herbert battles it out with Chucky and Derek Carr. Herbert slices and dices the Raiders' defense to the tune of 314 yards and 2 touchdowns. Carr injures his groin on a scamper, and Mariota finally plays like a second overall pick. To overtime we go. Herbert on the goal line sneaks it for a touchdown. Chargers win 30-27.
It's the holiday season, which means the NFL has gifted us glorious Saturday football. Unfortunately, this gift came unwrapped and damaged like my mom's FedEx package. Josh Allen terminated the Bronco defense like they were a bunch of sick horses. A tune of 359 yards and 2 touchdowns. Drew Lock, on the other hand, seemed like he locked in place as the offense failed to get anything going. The Bills win in a blowout, 48-19.
Panthers at Packers. Saturday Football Part 2. This gift of a game looked to be damaged, but the present was actually intact. Aaron Rodgers tamed the Panthers for much of the first half, until these cats started fighting. In the second half, the Panthers outscored the Packers 13-3, but it was not enough. On the final drive, Bridgewater, 4th down, pass sails to Robbie Anderson out of bounds. Packers hold on, 24-16.
Bucks at Falcons. Atlanta gets a revenge match against Tom Brady, and predictably they go up 17-0 at halftime. However, Tom Brady knows the Falcons' choking habits. In the second half, the Bucs storm back and outscore the Falcons 31-10. Brady Brady'd the Falcons again. Bucs win 31-27.
49ers at Cowboys. The Red Rifle, Andy Dalton, gets another shot at winning the game in Dak's absence. Without Ezekiel Elliott, Andy Dalton woke up to the tune of 209 yards and 2 touchdowns. The Jimmy G-less 49ers had no answer, no gold left to mine in this lost season. Cowboys win 41-33.
Lions at Titans. Lions, Titans, and no Bears. The only thing to be scared of is how much of an embarrassment the Lions organization is. As per usual, the Lions got destroyed by yet another capable franchise. Ryan Tannehill exploded for 5 touchdowns, 3 passing and 2 rushing, and 273 yards, and King Henry kept on establishing his surf to the tune of 147 yards and a touchdown. Titans win 46-25.
Texans at Colts.
Like the relative strong 373 yards performance from Deshaun Watson. These Colts are too difficult to handle for the Texans. Phillip passed for more yards than he has children. A late fumble provided to be the ultimate decider in this game. The Texans fumbled it out on the goal line. Colts win 27-20.
Patriots at Dolphins. Tua continues his run as the Dolphins tank, steamrolling every opponent in his wake. The New England Patriots were no different. Cam Newton struggled, throwing for 0 touchdowns. Dolphins win 22-12, and the Patriots missed the playoffs for the first time since 2008.
Bears at Vikings. Mitch Trubisky back in as starter as Big Dick Nick resets on the bench. Trubisky has been pulling a Ryan Fitzpatrick on the Bears as of late, and Sunday proves to be no different. The Bears' offense torched the Vikings' defense to the tune of 397 yards. The Vikings continue their path to mediocrity as Kirk Cousins throws for 271 yards, 2 TDs, and a pick. Bears paw their way to victory 33-27, eliminating the Vikings from playoff contention and keeping their slim playoff hopes out of hibernation.
Seahawks at football team. Alex Smith out. Dwayne parties and brags after losses. Haskins in. For much of the game, Haskins played like a benched quarterback, tossing 2 picks and acting like a check-down magnet. However, in the fourth quarter, he started to play like a first-round quarterback, mounting a near comeback. Seahawks eke it out 20-15.
Cowboys at Ravens. This game was a blowout because Action Jackson ran down the field for touchdowns, looking for the go-to guys, Des Bryant and Mark Andrews. And the Jags could not defend. Minshew Manuel doubled around, now in position to draft Trevor Lawrence in an embarrassing 40-14 loss.
The Rams v. Jets was hard. The Jets went, but they realized they needed Trevor, so they tried to throw the game, but it was too late. The Jets win their first game and possibly missing the number 1 overall pick.
Eagles at Cardinals. This was a back-and-forth game with Jalen Hurts throwing touchdown and making Carson Wentz one out. But the Cardinals were too good for them. DeAndre Hopkins scored, putting them up 33-26. Cardinals win and are in position to be in the playoffs.
Chiefs-Saints. The Saints were being hammered by the tomahawk of Patrick Mahomes, and they could not stop them scoring left and right. But Breeze and the Saints got momentum to come back, but it was too late. Chiefs hold on to win 32-29. Browns at Giants. This game was not close, with scrub Colt McCoy leading the charge, and bonehead Freddie Kitchens was making stupid decisions going forward in the red zone and cost them the game. Browns win 20-6, with even another doink by Cody Parkey.
Steelers at Bengals. This game was a massive upset. Ryan Finley actually playing like a quarterback in the league, not Kendall Hinton. Giovanni Bernard did great with the rushing. In one of the largest upsets on Monday Night history, Bengals win 27-17. And thus concludes 2-minute recap. All right. Now we're at the part of the show where we can actually talk about all this stuff. So first on the agenda, we're going to talk about Dwayne Haskins violating COVID-19 protocol for the second time this year. All right, to the panel, what do we all think? Why don't we start with Jack?
Yeah. Well, I think that since he's already done it once, he probably hasn't learned his lesson. He's going to do it again. And I think Ron Rivera is a disciplined coach, so we should bench him for Alex Smith. And he should be cut and never signed ever again by any other team for how stupid he is. But boasting about your stats after a loss, all that matters is the W. And what Mike Tomlin says, we will replace you with someone who can, throw good balls.
I think Dwayne Haskins doesn't want to be a starter. If anyone's seen Blue Mountain State, I think he's the Alex Moran of Washington. Just really wants
I actually have seen Blue Mountain State. That's true.
He's doing everything he can not to be a starter for some reason.
All right, Kai, what is your thoughts?
It seemed like he had some promise at first, especially. I mean, he showed some potential at this game, but I might have to start calling him Dwayne Football in the honor or maybe dishonor of Johnny Football himself. Worst case scenario.
Rob, what do you think?
Going off of a lot of what you guys said, I mean, I think Dwayne Haskins he doesn't seem to have the desire to want to consistently be a starter in this league. I mean, he came in with a not so great franchise in terms of developing quarterbacks. They've had some issues, but I think he had a lot of talent. But I just don't feel like maybe it's the situation. Maybe it was how he started with Gruden in Washington, but I just don't think the future is there for him. I think, especially not in Washington, he needs out of there. He needs a new start.
I think the
no start.
he needs no. Yeah, Jack, you had some pretty harsh words. I think with Haskins, though, it's not like – I think there were also questions about his talent. Like, can he be a quarterback? Because he has made a ton of errant throws. And then also there are questions around his maturity, which I would argue is even worse. Because if you could have all the talent in the world, but if you have character issues, you're pretty much done in this league. And
Yeah,
Ryan Leaf,
Antonio Brown.
No, ask Ryan Leaf, because he actually tweeted about Haskins saying it's mirroring himself.
Oh my God, he was like him.
Yeah, I'm glad Ryan
That
is
is-
looking back on it and realizes his mistakes. He had a lot of potential.
Yeah, he did have
Yeah.
a lot of potential.
When Ryan Leaf is comparing himself to you, you know that's not a good sign. You either need to make big changes or just get out of the league.
Yeah, and he did time Ryan Leaf
Yeah, he did serve time. Yeah, as
for
recently
breaking into a home.
Yeah,
for
as
teammate.
recently as 2014, and then Leaf also was charged with a misdemeanor battery in May. That
I
really
think
got his.
Dwayne Haskins
off
is
the
not
field.
starting
What's
for
up?
this. Ron Rivera will cut him because Ron Rivera is a guy who's a win now guy.
Yeah, I think it says Alex Smith has a good chance of coming back against I think the Panthers actually. Speaking of Ron Rivera, but I think if Alex Smith comes back, Dwayne Haskins is done. He's done at least with Washington. He may get.
No,
I
he's
don't know
done.
who else would want him after this. Like,
Yeah, how undisciplined he is.
I know you put your entire team at risk. Like, not only do you celebrate after a loss, but you violate COVID-19 protocols, which would put your entire team out of the facility, as we've seen with the Ravens and Titans.
Similar thing happened to Lou Williams, who left the bubble to go to, like the NBA bubble, to go to a strip club in Atlanta. Same thing.
I think one big
But
thing.
don't they have a hotline in the NBA?
Yeah, they did have a hotline.
They did.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, Rob, what were you going to say?
Well, I think one thing that is really important to consider when talking about Dwayne Haskins and the football team now is that Alex Smith may be the answer for the rest of the season, but Alex Smith is not a long-term answer. Dwayne Haskins is really the only semblance of a long-term answer that they have going forward. And realistically, if you decide to give up on Dwayne Haskins, you're kind of going to give up on your franchise for the next couple of years because Alex Smith is not going to take you to the Super Bowl. And I hate to say it, but he's not that guy. So if you're not going to get to the Super Bowl and you're going to give up on Dwayne Haskins, I feel like you might as well just start drafting a quarterback this upcoming draft. And
I wouldn't be sure. I wouldn't draft a quarterback. They should draft a left tackle.
Yeah, they should probably get some offensive line help. And besides, their draft pick's going to be around. I don't think it's going to be. It's going to be like around 15, which is the pick they used to get Haskins.
No, if they don't make the playoffs, it'll probably be in the 15. But if they do, it's going to be above 20.
Oh yeah. That's right. Because now they have 75% chance of making the playoffs.
Yeah, all he needs is a win and the Giants to lose.
I think earlier this year I said the NFC East winner would be 6-10. I think that still might happen. Although it's looking more likely they're going to be 7-9, which would tie the Seahawks in 2010.
No, I think the issue with Haskins is that, I agree with Rob the point that you would give up on the franchise if we give up on him right now. But what's the message you want to send to the 52 other players on the roster if we allow this behavior to continue?
No, we will cut your ass and get out.
I know Smith is not the long-term answer at quarterback, but
Well, he does
I don't
win
know
games.
if this. Yeah, I don't know. They should probably just wait to see if there's another one of those like quarterback studded drafts like in 2018.
Well, this year there'll actually be like absolutely 4 QBs.
No, Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields.
No, I think so I think I was watching whatever Thanksgiving week was for This Week in Sports Ball, and one of U-Tree's guest stars, Emp Lemon, talked about Kyle Trask dominating the league in 10 years because he would actually be drafted by a decent organization in the late first round. They might want to aim for that guy.
Him or Mac Jones, Alabama's quarterback, they'll both fall. And there's already going to be at least like Lawrence, Fields, and then BYU's quarterback Zach Wilson and North.
They're all going to be off the board in like the first 10.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
I think
all
Lawrence.
sorry. No, you go ahead.
Oh, I think. Well, Lawrence and Fields are probably going to go to the Jags and Jets, and they're just going to be ruined somehow. I just have a feeling.
The hard thing is, if you're Washington, even if you take a quarterback later in the draft, Washington has not developed a solid long-term quarterback since Joe Theismann.
Yeah, it's dysfunction.
They just, no matter who they've had, they had RG3, they had their high-pick chances. They just haven't developed quarterbacks. And I'm not saying, I'm an Eagles fan, so I this may be coming across as me not liking Washington. I don't think the Eagles are that good at it either. I'm just saying there's certain franchises that just don't develop quarterbacks that well. And as of late, Washington has been one of those franchises.
Yeah, they had Dan Snyder, and he settled a $1.6 million lawsuit with the sex scandal. But that's the dysfunction. It's because they're very dysfunctional and they distract.
No, because I think Dan Snyder just used to like to play fantasy football with the organization. And the minority owners were absolutely like angry at him. Like they wanted to dump their stake earlier on this year because he's just such a dysfunctional owner. And it seems like, this is speculation, but I think that they probably chose Haskins because he went to the same school that, Snyder's son was there.
Wait. Wasn't Dan Snyder – didn't he have a lot more control during that draft too?
Yeah, I think
he did
so.
in the first round.
Oh,
Yeah.
No wonder Haskins turned out like that. Snyder's the anti-Midas of the NFL.
Well, he did take Montez Sweat. He did demand for Montez Sweat.
Yeah, that was
actually
panned
smart.
out pretty well.
I know, but I don't think Snyder picked that. I bet you Snyder only picks the sexy pieces of the offense. If you're an owner, you're probably not worried about the defensive line or a nose tackle or an edge rusher. You're thinking quarterback and receiver. And look at some of the other high picks from him, like Josh Doxson was awful. He proved to be a bust. And Terry McLaurin was actually a later round pick. And
Yeah,
he's
he was
actually one of the
third
best.
round.
He's the best player on the team.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's say
Should we call him Dwayne Football from now on if we ever have to mention him in future episodes?
Yeah, I think that would be fine.
I guess I will. You don't have to.
So should we talk about the Jets?
Yes, yeah, we've kind of beaten this Haskins Bush to death. So why don't we talk about the Jets?
They won a game.
All right,
Yeah, winning a
resident
game was a
Jets
bad
fan
move by
on
them.
staff. What is your reaction to the Jets getting their first win of the 2020 season?
I'm absolutely pissed. I'm still very mad about that. For a number of reasons. One, because, if they started the season off like that, then I would have been really encouraged. So I don't know why they waited till week 15 to finally show some promise. But I guess that's Adam Gase's final gift to New York is finally just knocking us out of the number one spot.
Well, all they need to do is lose and the Jaguars to win, and then they get the number one spot back.
Yeah, but the Jaguars haven't lost since week one. They won week one. They've lost all the rest. I don't know. They've just been terrible.
They're so happy. They're getting Trevor.
It's terrible. We were in such a good spot. It's just I don't know what happened. I don't know how you beat the the team is one in the top division, the Rams. I don't know how you beat them on the road in Week 15, and you just literally couldn't do anything the rest of the weeks. Just got blown out most of the weeks and blew some terrible leads. I was expecting to blow another lead like we did against the Raiders and Pats, but I was hoping, but I don't know.
Oh, I wonder. I got a question. Why would you ever try if the team's not going in the playoffs? Why just lose? Just lose.
Because there's a culture to be established. You don't want to establish a losing culture. The football players are there to win games, not just
even when they're not going to the
lose and
playoffs?
think about the draft. That's what GMs are for.
Like, Frank Gore is thrilled that we won because he just doesn't – like, all the players really want to win, and they're there. I mean,
wait.
I just thought it would have been better.
I want to ask this question for Rob. Hey, Rob.
Yes.
When the Eagles aren't going to the playoffs, do you cheer for them when they're not going to the playoffs, or do you hope for them to lose?
It depends. As a fan, I understand the argument of wanting them to lose. The hard part is I myself, not that I am a high-level athlete, but I've been an athlete throughout my entire lifetime. And I know you're not going to go and play a game and try to lose the game. The athletes are never going to walk into that game and try to lose. Same thing as a coach, right? So even if maybe that's what's best for the team in the long term, nobody that's actively playing on the team wants to go 0-16.
That's pretty embarrassing.
Also, Jack. Oh,
it's super embarrassing to go 0-16, and these athletes are super, super prideful. They're not going to want that to be on their resume. Think about even like a guy like Frank Gore. He's been in the league for years. He's got records in rushing yards. He's been in the league forever. Do you think he wanted to end the season, have his last season of his career be an 0-16 season?
No, he even said that. I don't want to go 0-16.
I know.
Yeah.
Thrilled that they won.
Jack, do you remember what happened with the Dolphins last year after they
Magic.
After they got completely blown out by the Ravens. I think that was week 1. Multiple players demanded to get out of there.
Oh yeah, Minkah Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, I think nearly everyone they traded just became better. like the guy who dropped the 2-point conversion against the Redskins.
Oh yeah, he purposely dropped that because he knew he wanted out. And plus, if he caught that, he was going to get obliterated.
Yeah, that was a pretty amazing play call, if you ask me.
Tank ball.
Yeah. All right. Now, since we've talked about the Jets and how they've destroyed their number 1 pick, why don't we talk about another quarterback situation in Philadelphia? All right. We have an Eagles fan here. What is your take on, Rob, what is your take on Jalen Hurts and Carson Wentz?
Jalen Hurts needs to be the starter for the remainder of the year. And having said that, it's partially because he's played pretty well the past couple weeks. But the bigger thing as an Eagles fan that I've noticed over the past 4 years, including this one, is that the bigger thing is Carson Wentz is not the answer. He's just not the answer, right? So, I mean, you can see it in the team. I don't know if it's that he's not a good leader, but he was doing great in 2017. He goes out, Nick Foles leads the team to a Super Bowl. Next year, team is struggling. He gets hurt. Nick Foles comes in, wins out, gets him into the playoffs, beats the Bears, who were the number 1 defense in football in the first round of the playoffs, and honestly probably could have beaten the number 1 overall team in the NFC, the Saints, had Alshon Jeffrey not dropped the pass.
That was a double doink.
That was a double, but I'm not going to lie, it was partially blocked, so we'll just, whatever.
Yeah,
but,
that's true.
Was too.
But in general, what I've noticed is just over the years, the team just plays better when Carson Wentz is not in the game. And I think regardless of how well Jalen Hurts plays, even though he's playing well right now, so you have to run with it, you have to move on because Carson Wentz has proved year after year, even though he has played well at times, he's not the right fit for the Eagles in the long term.
Yeah, he doesn't seem like a good fit there. But I think they signed him to like a large extension. It's like he's I think he's still got a big payroll, big salary for the next few years.
Yeah.
So it would be
$128 million for 4 years.
And even
They
if
should
they get
trade
rid
him.
of him, they still have to pay him like over $20 million. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, if we cut him this year, I think, and he misses the next couple of years, we still owe him like $60 million. It's like a ridiculous amount.
So why would Howie Roseman sign that extension and then draft Jalen Hurts that same year? Like, why would he do that?
That's the mystery that is Howie Roseman.
Yeah.
Fire Howie. Roseman.
I think there's a lot of stuff going around about firing Doug Peterson, and I think
That is the most ridiculous thing
Howie
I have
Roseman's got to
heard.
be much more on the hot seat than Doug Peterson.
Yes.
Howie Roseman's made a lot of questionable calls, in my opinion. Now, if Jalen Hurts pans out, right, then I guess it all works out. But in the short term, it is confusing for them to have committed such a large contract to Carson Wentz and then to use a second-round pick on a quarterback that it didn't really seem necessary at the time. I'm with you there.
No, because what I heard on First Take was Stephen A. said that the Eagles were kind of conflicted as an organization about Wentz. Because, yeah, on the one hand, you sign him to the extension, but at the same time, you draft a quarterback as kind of an insurance policy to see whether he pans out or not. And they weren't like, they don't have 100% confidence in him, or at the time they didn't. And now it seems like they have zero confidence in Wentz.
Yeah, this is like the opposite of the Green Bay situation when they got Jordan Love in the first round and Aaron Rodgers has played MVP football. Now they just wasted a first-round pick on Jordan Love, and Aaron Rodgers isn't looking like he's going to go out anytime soon.
Look, if that's their guy, that's their guy. Like, one of the problems I had with Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre is they're not class acts when it comes to being quarterbacks. Like, I actually talked about this in my Dwayne Haskins blog that aged like milk yesterday. Like, the thing with Alex Smith, which I really respect about Alex Smith, is that he has impeccable character and leadership. Like,
Not
look
like Aaron
what happened in
Rodgers.
Kansas. No, he has a track record. Look at the 49ers. You had Colin Kaepernick, who broke out under Alex Smith. Go to Kansas City. He's there. Mentors Patrick Mahomes. And then the next season, Patrick Mahomes breaks the NFL. And now we're in Washington. Haskins played well, actually, towards the end of that game, didn't give up. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like his maturity issues were resolved under Smith. But Smith, the point is that Smith is willing to mentor younger players, and Rodgers and Favre, like, they just throw hissy fits about guys being drafted. Like, this is football.
Yeah. Hopefully Smith can somehow make Kyle Allen pan out if Dwayne Haskins just is that much of a problem.
Yeah. And I bet you Carson Wentz, as long as we're talking about this, Carson Wentz probably had the exact same issue. And this was a lot more serious because Hurts was it seems like Hurts was designed to give him some competition in the near term, like right now. Because Jordan Love is going to be sitting there for the next couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I was just confused because, I mean, I understand getting a quarterback and grooming them for a few years, especially behind Rodgers, but
yeah,
definitely was, distraught by that. Like, he even said he got super drunk that night and he was just really pissed. And, he just, I don't know, he just couldn't really take it.
No, he was pissed because the guy's going to replace him. And Brett Favre was like, I'm here to win, not to mentor.
Yeah.
I know, but I think as you can be class acts and actually do that. I know it's not in the job description, but I don't know, it's just being a nice guy and helping the organization out.
Having a veteran
and then
presence.
another problem I have is when players get all mad about being drafted to a certain organization. It's like, you're being drafted in the NFL. Under, I don't know, whatever percent of college players make it. It's a really small number. And you're complaining, I don't want to, like Trevor Lawrence and the Jets. I don't want to go to the Jets, or I don't want to go to
Eli
the Jets.
Manning did that.
Yeah, Eli
I want to
Manning
go to the
did
Chargers.
that. Exactly, it's ridiculous.
I don't know, maybe their egos just got that big from being in college football.
Maybe your ego gets so big that you can violate COVID protocols and go to a strip club after a loss.
What an idiot.
Okay, but there was another thing I wanted to talk about. Since we have Rob here, what do you think about this fire Doug Peterson talk? Like, I saw this and I was astounded with Eagles fans.
I'm not on it. I actually love Doug Peterson as a coach. I think he's a great coach. I think this year it's been tough. I think like when I watch the team play, I mean, they have a ton of injuries, so I think that's part of the reason the team hasn't played well. They've had a different offensive line like every single game. And again, going back to Howie Roseman, he has constructed a terrible roster. Jason Peters is terrible. It's time for him to go. I don't know why we have re-signed Alshon Jeffrey. Desean Jackson, all of these weapons that he keeps on signing, I think it's time to go. I think the team just needs to get young. Doug Peterson has proven to be a good coach. He's aggressive, at times overly aggressive, but I'd rather have him be over-aggressive than too timid. And I think
Roseman definitely
going forward need to make a change with Roseman and keep Doug Peterson, because I think they need to get rid of all their old talent. Don't re-sign Zach Ertz because you have Dallas Goedert. You don't need Ertz. He's an overrated tight end. Get rid of Alshon Jeffrey. Get rid of Desean Jackson. Get rid of Jason Peters. Get rid of all these old players that take a ton of money off your payroll. Trade Carson Wentz if you can, even if it's for a third-round pick, and get the team young. Like that's the easiest way that they're going to be able to succeed going forward. And I don't see a better coach out there than Doug Peterson.
I mean,
I really like that Eric Benimi guy. He's really good.
Wait, what do you think, Ben?
Jalen Hurts and Miles Sanders are both two very young weapons on the offense, but I definitely see that Howie Roseman hangs on to these old players way longer than their prime, and just he doesn't want to give up on them when they should.
After like 7 years, it's time to move on.
Well, how about Desean Jackson? And Howie Roseman is Jewish, and Desean Jackson goes on social media and quotes Hitler. Like, come on! Like, Desean Jackson is like 3 years past his prime. He should have been gone like that instant. I don't.
Yeah, they could have replaced him with like some 20-year-old speedster.
And they have a speedster in Jalen Reagor, but they should also they need to get more young at the.
Jalen Reagor is like Nelson Aguilar.
I think Jalen Reagor actually has amazing potential. I actually think he can be. I still don't think we should have drafted him. I still think we should have taken Justin Jefferson.
I think picking him was like picking Aguilar all over again.
Why do you harbor such bad feelings towards Jalen Reagor?
I think Jalen Reagor's got so much potential.
Okay, all right. So he's got potential. Why do you think he has so much potential, Rob? Because Jack is obvious disagreement.
I think the team just uses him wrong. Like they don't get him the ball enough. He's a playmaker. You got to get him the ball in space. They don't do it. They just don't give him the ball.
He could be like another deep threat like Desean Jackson, and he's like fast enough he can play the slot too if they need. Like they definitely could find ways to get him the ball.
That makes sense.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then with Alshon Jeffrey, I think he's recovering from an Achilles injury.
He is.
Yeah, and whenever that happens, unfortunately, your athleticism just goes. Like that happened with Kobe Bryant in the NBA. We had that with what's his name? Richard Sherman over on the 49ers. He's failed to get healthy. And unfortunately with Klay Thompson again in the NBA, hoping for his recovery there.
Yeah. They lost one of the Splash Bros.
Thank you for listening to the Total Bro Sports Podcast.